Hey everybody, welcome to another epicsermons.com Bible study. I'm your host, Bryce, aka the Epic Preacher. And one of the things that we do on this channel is we just talk about only the most advanced things in all of the Bible, the hardest subjects to tackle, and just go after the huge stuff that nobody really wants to talk about or that nobody's ever explained or even can explain. One of the things that we're going to be talking about today is a big problem that the church has been struggling with for a long time, and nobody has given a really good answer. And that thing that we're going to be talking about today is in John chapter 20, Jesus had risen from the dead, and he had some miraculous powers after he arose from the dead. He was able to disappear and reappear. He had a physical body. He could eat food. He could disappear and reappear, and then tell the Apostle Thomas, "Put your hands in my side and feel me. I'm real." And everyone's like, "Are you a ghost? Are you a spirit?" He's like, "Listen, guys, a spirit doesn't have flesh and bone like you see I have. I am real. I'm real." And then disappear, and they're just like, "Where is this guy going? And what is happening here?" And then you got situations like in Acts chapter 8, you have the Apostle Philip who baptized the eunuch. And then suddenly when they come out of the water, he's gone. Philip is teleported like 30 miles to another location, and he just pops there. And so, and then there's a lot of people in the Bible like Ezekiel, Isaiah, Daniel, Balaam, and all these people that were able to, Elisha, everyone, all these guys were able to see into this spiritual realm. Well, where is that? How do you do that? There's like flaming chariots, and there's all these angels and these things, and it's just, do we know what that place is? Can we describe it? Sure can. Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time. How did he do that? It's not, So people are asking, all this seems really weird. Like a physical dude's just going to walk in and out of a room. Guys are getting teleported, seeing all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time, seeing in the spiritual realm or whatever you want to call it. Like, really? This just sounds like pretty good fiction. Sounds like good fantasy. And as a Christian, you've got to be able to say it's not good fiction. It's good physics. It's not good fantasy. It's good physics. And it's easy to explain this stuff. You don't have to say anymore, well, you just got to take it on faith, brother. If a UFO person came up to you and said, "I was abducted and taken through my house into a spaceship," the question remains, well, Jesus was teleported or could disappear and reappear through walls, and Philip was teleported. So are they telling the truth or are they lying? Well, we're going to be explaining how, if Jesus can do it, and if Satan has the technology to show Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time, then if somebody was abducted, I am going to simply tell you how that is possible. And we are going to use only physics, only science, period. Because we don't need to take anything on faith here. This is now science reality. This is where we're at now. This is good physics. This is not fantasy in any way. So just come along with this ride with me. It'll be, I'm going to make this whole video less than a half an hour, but we're not going to leave any stone unturned here if we can help it. And we're going to be explaining all of these things and how they happen so that a child can understand. Your kids will probably get this better than you. I'm not even joking. I mean, seriously, look. We're going to be using Super Mario Brothers here to explain the mysteries of the universe. So just get ready. To do this, you're just going to need a piece of, a piece of paper, a pen, and that's it, really. I mean, if you want to get a little bit more fancy, you can use this. Scissors, you don't have to. You can use a box, even though you don't even really need a box. And then if you want to grab something like anything with a label like this, or something, I was going to use this, maybe not. Cereal box, you can use that as well. So these are just some props we're going to use to explain how people walk through walls, how teleportation is possible, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that's my 5-minute introduction, and let's get moving forward. So we're going to be going through this easy, just to make it real simple for everybody, because if you get this, you got it. It's done. You're not going to forget this. So let's start with this. We all know what 3D is. Okay, 3D, it would be like a cube. It has 3 sides, or has 6 sides. Now, this is like a cube would be 3D. A piece of paper would be 2D. It's long and wide, but there's no thickness to it. 2D, 3D. So let's explain 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, 1 dimension, and we're going to walk forward into how this is all possible. So we're going to take a step back to the beginning, and I'm going to walk you through the process, and you'll understand the mysteries of the universe in less than 20 more minutes. So, first thing I'm going to do is grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to put a dot on it. Piece of paper with a dot. We're going to call that 0 dimensions because it's a dot and it's not moving anywhere. It's just 0. 0. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot over here and draw a line. So, I've got a dot over here, and I'm going to draw a line. That would be called 1 dimension because you can only go one way. You're going this way or this way, but it's still one way. One way. You're going that way, and that's it. There's 2 dimensions, which would make it where if we do a dot here and here, we make a box. So we're going to make a square. I'm going to draw dot here, line, line, line. We all understand this is 2D because you can go up and down, left and right, but that's it. 3D, as we all know, would be like a cube. So we would just draw a couple more dots here, connect the lines, which I'll just do real fast. Dot there, dot there. I'm going to do a dot there, dot there. I am no artist, but you will understand my box. That's 3D. That's 3-dimensional, that's a box. Are we all on the same page so far? Okay, because if you understand that, we can start solving the mysteries of the universe. So, we all know that 2D, as you guys first saw it a second ago, was like this. Now this is Super Mario Brothers right here, the original. Let me scroll this down for you guys. There you go. Now, Mario is right here. Mario can move left, right. He can jump up and down. But his world is essentially totally flat. Does that make sense? If we click on this right here, Mario can jump on this Koopa. If he turned around, he could see that. He could see the drain pipe. He would be able to see these trees. But if he looks up, he's simply going to see the blocks. He doesn't know what's on top of the block. Not until, because his eyesight would look into the blocks. He could see the Koopa, but his line of sight is only what he can see. If you looked up into a bunch of blocks or a roof, all you would see is the roof. Now, if he jumps on top, now he can get that. But once he's on top, again, he can't see this guy, the Koopa, because his line of sight, he has to jump down to see him. We all understand that. Makes sense so far? Good. I'm going to move this over here so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing on this monitor. Now, here's a bad situation for Mario. Really bad situation. He's on top of the drain pipe, as you can see, and there's a bunch of guys stacked up. Now, there is absolutely no way, sorry, let me help you out here. There's absolutely no way he's going to jump over the top of that. He doesn't have that height clearance. So what does he do? How does he get past this if he doesn't want to jump in, get small, and die or whatever? Well, what if we told Mario, hey, go around the drain pipe and around those guys? Mario would look at you like you were crazy because he doesn't understand that. Mario is in this little world right here, and he's going, what are you talking about? And we're going, no, go around the drain pipe and around those guys. That way you don't have to jump over them and get murdered or die. And he'd just go, you want me to go through the drain pipe? I would be smashed. And we're like, well, yeah, well, I guess so. But we can help you though. Can we help you? And he goes, so Mario, he's jumping over here, he's jumping down, up, he can't get over these guys, and he's just going, what is happening here? What do you mean go around? Now, in a three-dimensional universe like we live in, we would go around him. And so suddenly we go to here. Now, really look at this picture here for a second. All we did was take Super Mario from up here, a 2D, to right here to a 3D. Now, you understand, all Mario has to do here is jump down to here, and rather than go into the Koopa, go around the Koopa. Instead of jumping on top of the drain pipe and jumping over it, simply go right here, go around it, or go around on this side. You notice how this is on that square, and Mario could easily walk right through there. Now, can you imagine? In a 2D world like this one, it would look like he's literally walking through walls, walking through the Koopas. They would be freaked out. In reality, though, he has an added dimension. Now, this Mario right here is now officially, he's got outs because he doesn't have to go walk through those guys and die. He can go right here and sidestep all of these guys, the drain pipe, the wall, and just walk through everything. Now, in their dimension, what are, like the apostle, like Thomas, when Jesus disappeared, did he? You get what I'm saying here? We're going to jump into these hyper dimensions. In other words, from 2D to 3D, suddenly you have some pretty insane superpowers. These guys are going to see you 1 second, but when you jump down here and you walk across this distance, you're going to be walking right through there. Even though they have no ability to conceive of that, because in their two-dimensional universe, that is impossible. These guys, Mario would walk right through them and right around the drain pipe, and they would be like, what just happened? Mario could walk right through him and right through the drain pipe. These guys here would have no idea what just happened. The whole rules of the game were just shattered. In reality, there was simply another path to take. Now, if Jesus wants to walk through walls, he simply needs another path to take through the walls. Mario today, as I'm filming this is a Super Mario Odyssey, he doesn't jump over things anymore. He's so accustomed to walking around things that it's going to make this guy's head explode. Mario here is, he has no idea to grasp the concept. How do you walk around this thing? Where when Mario, with his new body, in his new dimensions that he exists in, that we've created for him, walks around and around and around this thing, where this guy right here is getting used to just kind of going this way. But you understand, this guy he can barely grasp the idea of being able to run around this thing, which this Mario does every day. We're going to be getting into our new bodies here in a minute, so you're going to be understanding exactly some of the capabilities you're going to be able to have, and walking through walls is definitely going to be one of them. So, we've just discussed how if you have a single extra dimension from 2D to 3D, suddenly you don't have to jump on drain pipes anymore. Suddenly you can go around them. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just finish with this idea. So we discussed 3D. We all understand. 3D Mario, 2D Mario, we get it. 3D. What if I told you there is a 4D world? Very real, just like we are. Only we live in 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. In a 4th dimension we call time, but that's not a physical dimension. It is a physical dimension, sorry. It's not a you know what I'm trying to say. It's not, anyway, it's not. There is a 4th physical. So in other words, length, width, and height, and another physical dimension. Now, some of the capabilities you have going from 2D to 3D are amazing. You can, like, from Mario's 2D perspective, you can walk through walls. That's some of the capability you have. So if you go from 2D to 3D, when you go from 3D to 4D, the 4D guys have another space they can move through, in the same sense that suddenly Mario here had the ability, once we gave him 3D capability, he could move to a new space. He was no longer limited by a 2D up and down world. He could now move forwards and backwards too, and go around or through objects. This is a very normal existence for him today. He can move around things. Now, this is a 4-dimensional cube. Now, as you remember what we drew here, sorry about that, 3D. There's our 3D cube. 4D cube looks like that. In other words, there's a cube on the inside, and what we would do here is simply draw more lines going out, so it looks like a box inside of a box. You understand? We are going to see how this moves, because this is how Jesus would walk through walls. You see how it kind of morphs out? This moves to the outside. Now, how do we explain that? Because that's how Jesus moves in and out of walls. Now, we're going to break this down and make it simple. Again, I want everyone to understand this. That's called a tetrahedron or a hypercube. It is a real physical thing, guys, like this paper. It is real. But also, like Mario, who's 2D, who can go left, right, up, and down, he can't go around things unless he's given that capability. Now, here's what we're going to do. So now we're going to jump into, I just need a piece of paper and a pencil on this one. And again, you only need a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'm going to show you how to do that. This is just a little too important. So let me break this down here. So we are going to create a guy right here. And we're going to give him a wall right here. And on this side over here, we're going to put his girl. So we have a guy and we have his girl right here. Okay? And I don't really... Now, here's how this works, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen. This is a 2D world. In the same way, sorry about that, in the same way that this is a 2D world, okay? This is Mario. He can move left, right, up, and down. You know, that's it. Mario cannot see what's on the other side of this drain pipe because his line of vision is there. He can't see that castle because that's in his way, and he might barely see the top of that, but he doesn't know what's on the other side of this wall until he climbs up. Let's go over here now. Let's say this is Mario, for example, and let's say this is the princess or whatever. Just, you know, whatever. Can Mario see her? Well, of course he can't. Can she see him? No. Why? Because when he sees a wall. When she looks out, she sees a wall. So if I was to talk with him right now, and I would say, you know, for example, you say, Moses, if he was Moses and we were the creator or whatever. And he'd go, where are you? And you go, well, I'm outside of where you're at. And he'd go, what are you talking about? And he would look all around. He'd look at the wall. He would look up. He'd look sideways. He'd look down at the ground. He would look everywhere. Where are you? And I'd be like, I'm here, dude. I'm here. He'd be like, can you see me? And I'd be like, yes, I can see you. And he goes, I'm looking for my girl. Do you know where she is? Yes. Where is she? She's on the other side of the wall. Wait, and he's looking at the wall. He goes, well, can you see her too? Yes, I can see her too, man. We all can. Do you know her? Do you know what she's doing right now? Yes, she's looking for you. How can you see me and her and the wall at the same time? Well, you live in a world, dude, where you can only look up, left, right, down, but I'm in a hypercube to you called a 3D world. You're in a 2D world. And he goes, I'm trying to find her. I need to get to her. Can you help me get to her? And I go, okay, sure. And he goes, I can't go over the wall because the wall is too big. I understand that. Can you somehow get me to her without going over the wall or running me through it to kill me and smash me into the wall? Sure. You know, I have the capability of teleporting you, Philip, from Acts 8, and we can make that happen. I can teleport you through the wall. Now he's going, what, how? And so you and I basically go, as a three-dimensional person like myself, I have some pretty supernatural capabilities over this little 2D world. So I'm going to get my scissors, and if I'm using a small piece of paper, just rip it, doesn't matter. So let's do this. We're going to take this, and I'm going to quickly cut this paper, like that. Then up here, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to gently cut up the paper, like so. And I'm going to cut across like this, if my scissors work. Again, you don't really need scissors. You can always just cut it, or rip it. So we're gonna go here, here. Actually, yeah, why not? Who cares? You guys get the idea. So, okay, so here we are with their little world here. Now, how do we teleport these people? How would I, let's say, how would I teleport her over to where he's at? Well, it's pretty simple. Now, again, their line of sight, she's looking at a wall, he's looking at a wall. He has no ability to understand how you would take her to this side. He doesn't get it. But see, when you're going to teleport somebody, it's as simple as taking them into your space and moving their space. So how do we do that? Here, it's real simple. You take her into our 3D world, and you move her across his space, over and back to here. And we've once again reunited them. She's looking at him going, yay, he's looking at her, yay. And he's going, how did you just do that? How did you take her through the wall without killing her? And for us, it's so stupid. It's even difficult to explain to a two-dimensional person. And we go, okay. So right now, he's looking right at her. And he goes, can you bring her back to us so I understand? Back through the wall. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll bring you back through the wall. Now, here's what happens. He's looking right at her. She's looking right at him. And this is how the rapture of the church is going to work. This is how Philip was gone in the blink of an eye. This is how Jesus disappeared. When they are looking at each other. This is a two-dimensional world here. Okay, remember, you got, you got length and you got width. In a piece of paper here, you got length and width, but you don't have any depth. There's no depth. There's no thickness to it. In other words, I could literally get my finger right now and poke it through the piece of paper, and my physical form would just appear as I'm poking my finger through this plane right here, this part right here. They would see my finger appearing out of nowhere into their world. And then as I pull my finger back through, they would see this, just all they would see is that much of my finger. Just the very little boop as it's passing through, appearing out of nowhere, and then disappearing out of nowhere. Even though they're like, where are you right now? And I'd be like, I am literally right next to you. I'm so close to you, you can't even imagine. I'm even touching you. I mean, so we have all these capabilities. But here's what happens when you want to teleport or disappear. So in other words, what happens is this. They're looking at each other. But the second we pull her from their two-dimensional flat plane into our three-dimensional world, the second she breaks this piece of paper, once her world is parted, she disappears because his line of sight is gone. So I pull him out, boop, and the second she is just the smallest little fraction off of his world, suddenly this line here doesn't line up anymore, and she's gone. She just disappeared in the twinkling of an eye. Gone. But she is still real. She hasn't lost any physicality. This is a real piece of paper, and this is a real thing. Touch me and see, I am real. She is real. This is a piece of paper and a drawing, and I'll be God. I mean, this is real. A real piece of paper. But in my dimension, we can pass her through his dimension and back to the other side of the wall as she passed straight through it. And once again, she is hidden from his sight. He doesn't know where she is, and that's how you teleport. If you have an extra added dimension, one more, like a 3D person to a 2D, I can cut their world. I can move her across space-time, no problem. And guess where she's at? She's still in her world. So people are like, oh, I felt like when, like a UFO abduction or something. They say, oh, I felt like I was just passing through my house, my wall. Well, if you jump into a hypercube or if a 4D person, real stuff, takes this 2D person jumps into a 3D person the second I pull the paper off the board. Done. Sorry, you're gone. You're in a 3D world now. That's it. So I would tell somebody who says, well, I felt like I was passing straight through a wall. I'd be like, well, you probably were. There's the wall. And if they take you, and we're going to let her see, so we're going to simply turn her over like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say we gave her a 4D sight. We pulled her out, or a 3D sight. So rather than her looking this way, she can suddenly look, there's an eye there. Now she's looking straight out the paper. Oh, sorry. That's pretty dorky, but now instead of looking left or right, she can look straight out of the paper, given that 3D sight. So in other words, we gave her that three-dimensional sight to literally, instead of looking at him, now she is looking at me. Hi. And she's going, I didn't know that space even existed, and now I'm looking at you. Well, I just gave you 3D sight so you can look out of the paper now. So again, if you're being teleported through a wall and you think you're going right through it, you are, and this is how it works. So we pick her up, we turn her over, and she's going to be looking at this as she goes through the wall, as she's seeing it, and she sees herself going straight through the wall. And she was. In reality, she was going across the wall. But that's something you can do in our world, in our dimension. So once again, we put them down, reunite them, and there you go. So they're back together again. When God gives anybody 4D sight, you have achieved the ability to look into the hypercube, or the fourth physical dimension space, what we would call the spiritual realm. These angels are very real. Principalities, demons, whatever you want to call them, they're real. They're just interdimensional. As simple as that. Just like I'm more real than they are. I mean, they live in a 2D world. These are stickmen. I'm real. Guess what? You go another step higher, they are more real than you are. And they have these teleportation capabilities. Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time. Let's talk about how he did that really quick. This video is going to run a little bit longer than I expected, but at this point in time, I'm hoping you guys are getting stuff from this. And so, again, when all of these people have spiritual sight and they suddenly see an angel or a chariot of fire or whatever they're seeing in the Bible, they've simply been given these guys, a three-dimensional sight to look out of the paper right at me. Or you get four-dimensional sight and suddenly you're seeing things that are really, really, really there. You just couldn't see them before. Simple as that. Now, if we want to, let's again. Now, I don't want to run away from this too real quick. I want to go back to this just really, really, really fast. Okay, right here. This is a hypercube that we were talking about earlier. Now, here's how it works. You see how it's rotating? That is really how a four-dimensional cube rotates in a 3D world. And even though we don't quite understand it, we can kind of see how it rotates and how it moves. So like when Jesus has like a physical body, he can disappear by moving into this little smaller spatial dimension that we can't see, moving the physical aspect into the spiritual aspect. So the outside would be a physical box like this. And as you morph, you can move your space inside, causing you to disappear. Now, that is technically how it works. Now, I know it looks confusing, so I want to break it down for you so you understand why it's sort of confusing, but not really that confusing. So here's what we're going to do. You have 2D people here. You grab your box. Now, these people say, for example, can you show us yourself? People always say, show me God and I'll believe. Well, how do I show myself to these people? I'm 3D. These people are 2D. Where's God? If he was here, he would do something. Well, I can teleport you. I can do a lot of stuff to your world. I can make more of your world. I can draw, do a bunch of things. But showing myself to you is really not quite something I can do, because if I shove my hand through the paper, I'm going to break your world up and you'll die. I mean, I just can't jump through the paper right here, because if I pulled the paper out and just I'm going to jump into your world, you would die. You can't see God, you'll die. It's just, so you need another dimension, or several, or many, to be able to do that. So when Moses said, show me your glory, show me yourself. Well, there's a way we can kind of do that, sort of. And it's the same way as how we would try to explain a hypercube to us. So let me just try to, okay. I'm going to grab a light here, because there's one available. And I'm going to turn on this light. Okay. Suddenly, the light, or the glory, is just projected onto this world here. Now, I'm going to put you right back at this hypercube and just watch for a second how it rotates. Now, it looks like it's morphing, even though it's a physical object, period. Now, over here, he says, show me your three-dimensional image. And I go, well, I really can't do it perfectly in a two-dimensional world, but I'll try. We grab our box or Rubik's Cube or anything you got, right? And we go, okay, dude, here's what we're going to do. We're going to project this box into your two-dimensional world. And all of a sudden, this guy sees the shadow, or he sees the box. And he goes, whoa, is that 3D? We're like, not really. This is 3D. You're looking at a 2D representation, or the shadow of this three-dimensional box. And he goes, And they're both freaked out. And they're just like, well, okay, is it solid? And you go, yeah, it is solid. My box is solid. Solid box. Okay. But in his world, he wants to see how it moves. So we are going to move the box around like this in his world. And what is he seeing? He is seeing a shadow morphing in and out, going, just morphing. Even though this is a physical box, it's in his 2D world, he just sees it morphing and turning and twisting, and he doesn't get it. He's going, wow, I see it. I kind of understand it, but man, it's morphing this and that, and I don't quite get it. Is it really physical? Yes. It's physical. And this 4D world right here, this spiritual realm, is also physical. Like a box. Do you get it? I hope you get it. Now, if you're like, let's say call this guy Moses, and he says, show me your glory. Well, I can't really show, it's like if you're God, you're going like, well, how do I do this? Well, I guess, well, all right. Well, if you want to see my glory, let me show you what to do. First of all, let's do glory. Woo! Okay. Now, glory is kind of necessary to do, like a light or whatever, because you kind of need that to be able to show him yourself. You know what I'm saying? So now he can see my hand. Or like Moses saw, the backside of the Lord when he passed over. You can't see his face, you would die. I mean, bottom line though is that you need this glory representation here. And so his world just lit up. Just the glory of God just shined. Now, when Stephen saw, the Lord, his face shone like that of an angel. Well, there you go. There's you could call this light, this extra interdimensional light, because he's 2D, this light is 3D, so this is interdimensional light to him. And there is interdimensional, fourth dimensional light that is in their realm only, just like this light and this light bulb is in my realm only. I can shine it on him, and it's capable if I do it. I don't have to, but I can. And sometimes it's useful to, so now I can show him my body. I can show him, my hand. I can, and he can sort of see me. And, so you still have to project a 3-dimensional image into a 2-dimensional world. And the glory of God might help to understand, because I can only cast a shadow if I've got some glory or some light, interdimensional light on there. I move it over here, turn the light off. There's no shadow. I mean, I can't show him anything. So I need a little something to react to make it work. Now, he didn't understand the concept of the box. He may not fully comprehend my hand. He may not fully understand when I pull her out into my world, she disappears, how we teleport her to the other side of there. We might not fully understand a hypercube and how a hypercube moves in and out. We see the same box as he's seeing, just morphing over here in the shadow, morphing. And we're looking at this going, we don't quite get it. Well, good news, he doesn't quite get it, but it's there. It's real. So, we're talking about how do you disappear? How do you reappear? Well, it's real simple. Again, we're going to recap really fast. How do you teleport somebody? Move them into the other dimension and they cross them through. If they have the extra dimensional sight that they were given, you can do that too. So you can physically pass. And remember, this piece of paper is real. I can burn it. I can crinkle it up. I mean, it's a real piece of paper, but I can pass them over each other in my realm and put them on the other side of the wall. So teleportation is as simple as bending space. Now, and people say, well, can you bend space? Well, the Bible says in Isaiah 34, Isaiah 51, Revelation 6, that the heavens will be rolled up like a scroll. Well, you can't roll up something unless there's a certain amount of rolling up ability. There has to be, for it to roll. In other words, if the heavens can actually be rolled up like a piece of paper, then we can actually cut it and break it and basically warp her to the other side. Now again, if we warp her, is she still real? Yes, she's real. She's still in her world. We just pull her out into our dimension, move her over through what they would call a wormhole, or we would just call interdimensional travel. We're simply moving her out and over. It doesn't take a lot of energy, no energy on her part to move from there to there. You just have to have enough energy, or myself, to move her. And all it takes is doesn't take a lot of energy to do that. It just takes the ability. Again, not energy, ability. And I would love to see more scientists thinking along those lines. Stop thinking about in terms of energy and start thinking along terms of ability. The two are different. And we'll get into that later. One thing that I also wanted to address. So we got that teleportation factor. Your ability to walk through walls is 100% dependent on simply, like, we would go from this world right here where there's Mario. He can't walk through all of this. And Mario cannot walk around that. And he can't see up there. And he sure as heck can't jump over these guys. So the only way he's going to go around all of these is if we give him this added dimensional space, a 3D space. And once we do that, Mario suddenly can walk through, seemingly through the Koopa, seemingly through the drain pipe, and seemingly through this wall right here on this side, even though these guys here have no ability to understand, because the second Mario jumps to here, they disappear from his sight. Jesus teleports or walks through walls with a physical body just by moving to another space from 2D to 3D. Okay, I think I've beaten that to death, but solving the mysteries of the universe here in a way a child can understand. We want to break it down and make everything simple to understand here. So that's all I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm going over my notes here. The glory of God. Well, it's kind of necessary to shine your shadow on something to project an image so that they can even see it in a 2D world. Well, we would need the same thing in our 3D world. From a 4D world, we would need somewhat of a projection here. Now, one of the things that we also were talking about is, let's say, 4D sight. How did Satan show Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time? Well, it's really quite simple to do that. And there's two ways of describing this that we can understand. How do you show someone all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time? I think this will work. There's a couple ways of doing this. There's, then I guess we can use this one. Okay, right there. Sorry. Okay. How do you show somebody all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time? It's really not that hard to do. Now, here's Mario. Mario can only look, as we know, in his two-dimensional realm. He can only look at the Koopa. He can look there. He cannot see up there. Right? So if I wanted to show Mario all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time, how would I do that? Well, we know I have to take him into my world, into a 3D world. Into a 3D world like that. Now keep in mind that Mario is still a two-dimensional person. So we are simply going to take this little guy out and give him 3D sight in the same way we did with her. Remember? She's looking at us. She can see straight out into our world. She likes us. He can't. She can. Because she doesn't just look that way. She can see us. And if we take her off this paper and we turn her around, I'm beating this to death, I know. We take her into our world, just like we're going to do with Mario, and we turn her over. She can see him, and she can see the other side of the wall too. So she'd be able to see him and on the back side of the wall because she's looking straight down. In our world here, we would say to Mario, all right, Mario, here, we're going to show you, dude, all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time. He'd go, how do you do that? And I'd be like, well, it's pretty simple, actually. Here, if I can find, there you go. So he would look at this and he would go, what do you see? And I would say, well, I see I see the Koopa here getting destroyed. I see the guy through the block that you can't see, Mario. I see this guy over here. You might be able to see the top of his hammer, but I can see him. Oh, there's a castle on the other side, and I see everything at the same time. And he goes, really? He goes, I don't understand. All I can see is that. I can see here and I can see to there. What do you mean you can see all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time? Well, Mario, it's because we have a 3D body in your little 2D world. Now, here's another way of explaining that to kids so they understand. I'm sitting down, or you're sitting down at a parade, and we're watching the parade go by. So we call our friend, hey, where are you guys at? And he goes, oh, sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make it tonight. I mean, I'm there, but I'm not gonna be able to make it. We're at the parade, dude. What do you mean you're here, but you're not gonna be able to make it? I got a surprise for you later. Okay. Well, are the other guys coming? Yeah. Your mom's around the corner, and she's getting some ice cream for you guys. Okay. We're watching the floats go by. We're sitting down. Okay, and do you know if my sister's coming? Yeah, she's coming. She's right around the corner. Wait a minute, she dropped something. Yep, she dropped her purse. No, she's got it. She's good now. She keeps coming. She'll be there in about 5 minutes. If she doesn't, she started to talk to a friend, so yeah, she's gonna be a little bit late, so yeah, you have to wait. How do you see my mom? Yeah, I do. And you see my sister? Yes. Do you see my brother? Yeah. Where's he? He just got out of the store 2 blocks up, and he's got some ice cream for you guys, and he'll be there in about 4 minutes. He's in a hurry. The ice cream's licking, and he's not very happy. Dude, do you see all these people at the same time? And he goes, yeah, but you're not here. No, I won't be able to make it tonight. How in the world, dude, are you seeing all this at the same time and you're not here, but you're here? I don't get it. And he says, look up. And we go, he goes, do you see that blimp up there? You see that helicopter, whatever you want, airplane, whatever? We're like, yeah, I see the copter up there, dude, the blimp, what's up? And he goes, yeah, I'm in the one and my buddy's in the other. He's filming you, but we both see everything. You're in the helicopter, man, so that's why you didn't make it tonight. That's the surprise. Are you kidding me right now? So you see my sister over there, you see my brother and my mom and myself, and oh, geez, that's awesome. Well, you have 2D sight, and you're just looking like this, watching the parades go by, watching the days of your life go by, and if you're in another dimension, you have some pretty awesome capabilities. You can disappear, reappear, you can teleport. You can see all sides of an object at the same time. When you are looking down at here, when you have 4-dimensional sight, we're going to take this. Here's what you're doing. Because I'm 3D, I would have to go sprite. A lot of calories there. I get it. Okay. That's the calorie counter right there. There. Okay. Customer concerns, call number. Barcode, got it, I understand. But see, I can only see one side of this bottle at any one time. But if I wanted to see all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time, and I had 4D vision, that's what you get. You get to see all sides, because this guy is 2D, and because I'm 3D, I can see his whole world. If you are in 4D, like Jesus or the spiritual realm, you can see all sides of an object at the same time. So what does that mean? Well, that means like this. You can open up their world where instead of reading Sprite, calories, that, you see the whole label at once. You can see all sides of an object at the same time. And it gives a much better representation than just seeing it a little piece at a time. This is easy to see, easy to look at. Yep, you can see everything at once. If it's in this, then you can only see one side at a time as you rotate it. And the same as your friend, he turns around. There you go. And here, you can see all sides of an object at the same time. It says other ramifications like the seraphim. Some people said, oh, they had faces all around, and some people said no, they were kind of separate and distinct. Well, that's the difference if you have 3D sight or 4D sight. If you can see all sides of an object at the same time, it would look like they're separate. If you only see a three-dimensional image looking at a 4D person, you're going to see one thing at a time. It just there are so many interesting things here. The point is that it's, we're going to try to keep this under an hour. But what I'm trying to say is that all of this is just one dimension higher. So, and we can get into what some of the other capabilities are and things like that. We know what the glory of God is. We know where the light source comes from, and we've also, discovered a lot of things. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, this is all garbage. Well, you're absolutely wrong. I mean, the best physicists in the world know that, 70 to 99% of all the mass in the universe is missing. Well, they call it cold dark matter. No, because if 90% of the cold dark matter was missing, it'd be smashing into us at every turn. We're talking a lot of stuff. So what is dark energy? Well, we don't know. We just call it dark energy. We can see the universe expanding, the gravitational pull, so we know it's there. People say, oh, set 90, it's not 90% of the mass of the universe is missing. Well, the universe is getting bigger faster quite quickly, so it will be 90%, if not 99.99% in a few years, because it's growing and growing faster. So whether I'm right now or right in 10 years, I'm going to be right. The point is, the spiritual realm, or what we would call the missing mass of the universe, is without question interdimensional. If it was cold dark matter, first of all, it wouldn't be coming together. There's so many reasons why none of that's important. But the universe is expanding. We know this, and the Bible says in Isaiah 40 and Psalm 104, the Lord God stretches out the heavens like a tent to dwell in. Well, if the Lord's stretching out the heavens and the heavens are expanding, well, that kind of makes sense. And what's causing this? Well, some sort of an interdimensional force, i.e. maybe God. The point is that the thing is that we only went to 4 spatial dimensions, and we have another dimension that we would call time, and but we only exist in length, width, height, and time, 4 dimensions. I got some bad news for you guys. The spiritual realm, or what we call the tetrahedron, that space where the spiritual realm is, where these other beings are, they are also not very advanced, because we know of double-digit dimensions. So even if we put the spiritual realm into, length, width, height, time, hypercube, or tetrahedron, that's 5 dimensions. I mean, the bottom line is that there's over 11. You keep multiplying the superpowers that we got from a 2D world to a 3D world, now go to a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10D world. You are getting superpowers every single time you go higher, and more capabilities and more powers, more everything. Some people would say, well, I don't know about the whole UFO abduction thing. I'm like, well, the whole Bible talks about these things. I mean, so I would seriously consider that. I mean, what was, Ezekiel, Isaiah, those were interdimensional abductions. Enoch walked with God in Genesis, and he was not, for God took him. That is an interdimensional abduction. You're gone. How do you disappear? Second you break the plane, they can't see each other anymore. You're raptured. You're gone. Now here's the cool thing. Let's say, for example, she's saved, and we want to rapture her. And we pull her, or harpazo is what it's called in Greek. We move her into our space. So she's with me now. She's in the presence of her creator. Let's say right here, a nuclear bomb is going off and the whole book of Revelation's imploding, and there's fire and everything's getting destroyed and it's burning, and it's just, the whole world's just getting messed up. Is she absolutely safe with me? Yes, because she is not in that world. If she was in that world, she would be obliterated too. But if we pull her out into our realm, they cannot hurt. Nothing can hurt her, because she's with me. She would be in heaven or in this extra space, and nothing on earth affects her. And if we want her to not see it, she just looks at the face of her creator and she's happy. If she wants to know what's going on, like I think a lot of guys will be, hey Lord, can I see what's going on down there? God is probably going to be like, yeah, sure. Here you go. Turn you around and you're going to be able to see it all. From the mezzanine, while the whole world's imploding and you are totally safe with a physical, real body. Again, she's real. I could crumple up her world. I could roll it up like a scroll, the Bible says, and tuck her away. There's a lot we can do here. All this, all the most complicated things, and all of physics and all of science and everything else was in the Bible the entire time. And if you don't believe the Bible, if you don't believe the Bible, then you don't even have to worry about this stuff because it's going to get a lot worse. Now, listen. A lot of people would say, well, God can take people into other dimensions. Well, yeah. Well, Satan can too. If Satan showed Jesus all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time, then he has the technology to take a physical, real person into that spiritual realm where you get 4D sight, where you can see all the kingdoms of the earth in a moment of time. If Satan can do that with Jesus, he can do that with another physical person. So if you were talking about an abduction or some kind of a UFO experience, we know that the evil one has those abilities. And if anybody here goes, well, I don't really believe this whole dimensional thing, well, you're too late on that. Okay, the Large Hadron Collider, the LHC at CERN in CERN, Switzerland, is designed to do a couple of things. The main point they're doing now, the main reason it was built, the most advanced machine ever created by humans, was to punch holes through this fourth dimensional space. So we can peek inside and take a look and maybe pull something out of there. Guess what? That's a really lame thing to do because you are a little two-dimensional person here and you think you're going to rip into my realm and I'm going to let you get away with anything? I am infinitely more powerful than you piece of paper, dude. This is why when people are, even the quantum computers that we have now that are built by D-Wave, that are used by Google, Amazon, Facebook, one of the things that they do is they operate interdimensionally. They can cool these things down to we'll get into that later, but popping in and breaking into interdimensional realities is something we've been doing now for decades, or at least a decade. We built the system, 50 years ago, we built the thing that was capable, we knew how to do this 50 years ago. So theology has got to keep up with the basics of physics because the Bible has been right the whole time. And it's been explaining these things the whole time. And unless you can understand the basics, because if you can explain the mysteries of the universe to a child. If you can't, then I don't know what to tell you. It just is, kind of is what it is. So anyway, I went a lot longer than I was anticipating, but I really just wanted to beat it home so those of you would be able to kind of understand the mysteries of the universe. And anyway, I hope that blessed you. This has been an epicsermons.com Bible study. My name is Bryce, aka the Epic Preacher. And I just hope that the information was epic, that you're able to suddenly go, wow, I see it now, I got it. If you have any questions, let me know. But feel free to just share this with anybody who wants to know how all of this stuff works, because I think it'd be a blessing to them. So God bless you guys. Hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.